Hey there, welcome to episode I think is number 8, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, in this episode I'll be talking to my friend Jay. He's a 24-year-old who already has a property. Imagine that. How many of you actually have a house? I bet not many. He is somebody that I really admire. I don't know how he does it, but he has managed to callous his personality into this incredible human being that honestly can overcome anything. After speaking to him, I believe it comes from his family, from pride, from the gym, from connecting with people, from being humble. I am extremely proud of this conversation. Please listen to it. Leave comments, likes, shares, everything. You know the vibe. Please feel free to reach out to him. This is the goal of this whole thing. So thank you. Enjoy. How are you feeling?
Feeling golden.
Golden. That's a beautiful word.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe it.
Because it's golden hour right now.
Oh.
Yeah. 5:09 right before the sun sets. Right? I think that's how it
right
works.
now I think it's a little later now.
Yeah.
Dude,
True.
did you see the sky yesterday after it stopped raining?
I think so.
That was golden.
Yeah.
It was like cloudy golden.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I was like, it was a little cloudy yesterday, but
Yeah, but it's
it gives a nice effect to it.
yes, it's very unique.
Yeah. What I like by Bayonne, like if you go down like
By
to
the
that
water?
waterfront, yeah, oh my God. So beautiful. Like where the docks are and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clouds right during golden hour, it's like purplish, like orange. Oh my God.
Damn.
I have some pictures of that. It looks amazing.
Sheesh. All right, bro.
Yeah.
So, would you like to introduce yourself?
I guess, yeah.
It's like,
You know
call me
what's funny?
daddy.
So, my name's Daddy.
Oh my God. Somebody SMR.
Oh, yeah. Not All right, so my first name's Rob. Short for Roberto. Middle name Jacob. Last name Perez. Hold that high pride. Hold that name with pride. I guess.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Or they can call you Jay.
Or Jay. Yeah. I'm pretty much known by Jay. My family knows me by Jay. I don't know where that mix-up came about. I think it was because my dad, his name's Roberto. So everybody was like, let's just call him Jacob. And that was my middle name. And that name was actually given to me from the Bible, from my grandmother onto me. And my last gift that I got from my grandmother was a Bible, which I have yet to read yet. It has like really tiny words, but I have it in my car and I always keep it on me. Just in case, when you feel like, I guess, really down. Yeah. I have something to like reference right in my car.
Nice. I feel like people are going to think that, damn, another religious podcast.
Yeah. Like, oh, these fuckers.
This is the third one in a row.
Yeah, for real.
Bro, that's really dope that you have that still with you. Is your mom or your grandma still alive or?
No, she passed when I was 13. So,
how old are you now?
Now 24.
Okay.
Almost got stuck on 23. No, 24. I know that for a fact now. Because you know how, like, when the year passes, you're still writing, like, 2020. Yep. And then, like, you're like, oh, no. Let me erase that zero.
You're a 2000
like,
baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 1999. So, technically a 90s baby.
Oh, wow. You qualify for the old head discount.
Veterans discount.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Sheesh. Damn, bro. Well, thank you for coming, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, bro.
Thank you for inviting me to this like awesome setup, bro.
What they don't see behind the cameras.
No, for real. No, I love this place, man.
Yeah, it's like giving birth. It's not pretty, but it builds up to something beautiful.
It's inspiring. It's inspiring, definitely.
Yeah. So I really wanted to have you on from the very start because you're somebody that inspires me a lot. And I feel like you represent this very well. It's like I met you through a friend. Yeah. And then through them, I'm like inspired. So that's what my idea for this is to become friends with people and get inspired by them. Yeah. And not understand, but like want to grow yourself as an individual. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I like that whole concept too.
Yeah, man.
And I like the way you described it. A tribe, a community of like-minded individuals coming together to almost accomplish one goal. And I guess the goal here is to really connect with everybody and then build together as well.
Yes, that's really it.
Yeah, because not many people, I want to say, really find their tribe. And a lot of people just, lone wolf it and then end up just, falling into that rat race.
Yeah.
But I think like with the right tribe, you're able to like push the boundaries of what you can actually attain.
And you're able to enjoy it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I have a lot of questions for you. Yeah. So many.
Oh, shit. I'm ready for this.
No, I'm kidding. I only have like 10, but they're pretty. Guess who knows them better than me? You. Because it's about you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So before I start, I'm going to go turn something off. Okay. So, how's my hair now?
Shit, looking fabulous, man.
I hope so. Because I need a haircut ASAP.
Yo, me too, man.
Yeah, bro.
I'm sorry. I was about to apologize to you, but then I was like, you know what? It's so hard to book my like haircut guy. I looked on the app today and I was like, bro, homie's
There's an app for your haircut guy?
Yeah. And he's like booked all the way till next week. I think when you make it that convenient for people to like book through the app, bro, you're going to be overbooked.
Oh my God, that's incredible though.
Compared to like walk-ins.
Wait, what is this app?
I forget.
This is where we give out the real gems.
Oh, real gem.
How to get barbers. Now that barber, bro, is going to be super flooded with people because they're watching this now.
He's already flooded. Shout out to JD. Let me see. I think the website is Squaresite. So I think it's produced by Squarespace. And then on that, you're able to like book like through whatever staff member, and then you choose like the hour, haircuts,
how much is it?
Beards, touch-ups. So his haircuts with the beards are like usually like 55. Yeah.
Wow, that's not bad.
I mean, he's all the way in Montclair, but that's my dude. Like the way I met him was during COVID. He was like cutting hair in his garage space.
Almost starts.
Yeah, this is where it starts, man. And yeah, he was just giving me fire fades, bro, and then lining me up just right. And then there's something about when somebody's like doing their own hustle that you just like kind of want to stick with them. And that's basically my guy, man. I never like really cheated on him. Maybe once.
Easier for you to cheat on your girl than your barber.
Yeah.
Or so they say. Allegedly.
Cheat on your barber, it's over, man.
That's how you know if you're a good guy. If you cheat on your barber. That's the question that women should ask men before they start dating.
Yep.
How many barbers do you have? And then you'll know.
You'll truly find his character within that question.
Bro, if man, I would fail that question. I've switched barbers too many times.
Shit, man.
Now I don't even cut my hair.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta look for the right one.
Haven't found the right one. Maybe JD's the right one for me too.
Yeah, true.
All right, bro. So you're somebody that has accomplished a lot at this age.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unique for somebody your age to be this ambitious, and it's very hard to connect with people like you because you tend to be so busy, and you're always doing your own thing. It's like you're not relying on anybody. You're your own person, and that's really dope. However, same thing I told my other friend, Stalin. He has a car dealership. I believe that does come with personality, but I think it stems also from your childhood, because that's when you built yourself up. So I'm curious, how was your childhood when you were growing up?
Yeah, hectic. I mean, just to put it simply, but to elaborate a little further, just crazy. Shit, where do I begin? My mom, raised by a single mother. And then being kicked out at an early age while I was still in middle school. Some may say I wasn't kicked out. You know, maybe it was a behavioral issue that got me pushed out of the house at such a young age to go live with my dad. And then, you know, during that stage of life, never really had like my dad around. And then when I started living with him, he was a role model for me, but at the same time, you kind of like perceive certain behaviors that, you know, he was doing at the time that I knew was wrong. And I just held myself to a higher standard. And I thank my mom for that a lot. And more so my grandmother, who we were just talking about. Before she passed, I think it was like my grandmother's like goal or job just to like get us financially smart. What else? And then just have a good, you know, place to call home. Always have a home cooked meal. She set the standards. Like, I remember back then, she was telling me like, you know, you ever get a girl, make sure she knows how to cook, clean, and you know, she got a job and everything. But man, I really give it up to my grandmother, because even though she died at like an early age, a lot of her values like still stick hard with me. And I mean, there's a lot of values my dad and mom taught me through experience, not really just sitting down and talking, because that wasn't really their forte. But when you're around that type of environment, all you could do is learn from experience, and then try to be a better person. You know,
I think that speaks a lot about your character,
yeah,
because you can either break or you can learn from it.
exactly. And it was humbling, you know, losing a lot of my possessions. Just to give you a quick example, I won't go in too in depth, but I was gifted like a pair of beads, and then someone close to my mother sold it for crack. And I didn't end up finding out till like I went to, you know, go listen to some music, and then all of a sudden it was like my beats are missing. So it was just like, you know, the dude tried explaining to me that it was just, you know, a problem that he was having. You know, and I still talk to him to this day, and he's trying to grow as a person. Right now he's in jail. But he keeps telling me like he doesn't want to be there, and he wants to like push past, you know, what the world stigmatizes him as. And you know, and I think he was like a main motivator for me too, because I would hate to see my mom hang around people like that. And so the whole goal of just achieving what I've achieved at such a young age, my motivation is just to have a place of my own and take care of everybody else. Because even though my mom took care of me, I could tell nobody really took care of her. And even though my dad was, you know, with me, giving me advice, at the same time, like, I think he needs to pick me up, you know, like a best friend that he could also call his son. And I'm glad I could be there during the moments where he's down. But at the same time, I would like for him to be as up as I am, you know, putting other people on, especially, you know, my close ones, my parents.
That's beautiful, bro.
Thank you. I mean, I don't want to go into a sob story, but, you know, this really made me, I guess, who I was. Just straying from the path of uncertainty. Well, every path is going to be uncertain, but straying from the abyss that we call, I don't know, what's the name for it? Jail. Or just falling into that trap that a lot of, unfortunately, young adults fall into. And I guess that's why.
How old are your parents right now?
My dad's 40 and some change, and my mom's like late 40s. And you know what's funny? I never asked them their age because I always felt like it was disrespectful. But yeah, they had me. I believe my mom was in her early 30s when she had me, and she had my sister at an earlier age, which was like I think 18. And
no, I think early 20s
or early 20s. Yeah.
Because she's 40 and you're 24. Yeah. Could be early 20s.
And my dad, same thing, early 20s. Yeah.
Sheesh, bro. Damn, that's so humble of you to even though you were kicked out of your house, and even though, you know, like you went through all these obstacles, to still have a serving kind of mindset rather than a no, you didn't provide enough for me, you weren't there for me. you still want to give back to them, and you still want to take care of them and look after them.
You know what's funny? All the times my mom disciplined me, I would always go into the bathroom and I'd be like, when I get like famous or whatever, I'm not going to give you any credit. I'd say that like behind the closed door. I'd be like, I hate you. Ah. But at the same time, you know, you really got to give them props because I see them as a reflection of myself. And if you know yourself well enough, you know that you're just a human at the end of the day and you can only do so much. One person can only do so much, and providing for somebody else, you know, there's a saying, you know, whatever's going on around you, just know, like, if you had a kid, it could be worse. Yeah. Because having a kid just, you know, weighs down a lot of people. You put a lot of passions and dreams aside, but not only that, you're basically committing your entire life to this person and hoping that they come out well. And, you know, I would hate for all that suffering to go to waste.
Yeah, man. Sheesh. That's enough to make a man cry, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I love them.
How often do you talk to your dad?
Just recently, the other day, as a matter of fact, I got some Easy Pass bills I got to pay. So I got to go pick those up. But my dad, he's, you know, it's, when we talk about like behaviors and stuff, a lot of it also stems from my parents, you know, because I knew well enough not to surround myself with people within the environment I was in that, you know, smoke, drink, and do all these things. But I also found myself just smoking with my dad and drinking with my dad. And so, you know, part of the bigger picture is understanding where you get these habits from and who enables you the most. And so my dad's a big enabler, and he gets enabled pretty easily as well. You know, falls back into the same old habits sometimes, but what I always notice is that he has enough, how do you say, enough of a conscious mind to know that he doesn't belong there, and he has to like get himself out of it. And so, I mean, we all fall victim to temptation and, you know, falling into a trap of, you know, despair, but it's one thing to fall into it, and it's another thing to climb out of it, you know? Yeah. And just to sit there and, you know, dwell in all that. But I always keep the mindset of just pushing, just keep it going, just no matter how hard things get, just keep moving. And I think I get that from my dad, because I remember I had this real deep talk with him about suicide. And it was like around the time of my first breakup. You know, your first breakup, everything goes crazy, and you're like, what am I going to do? This person was my everything, blah, 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 this. And so he was in the living room at that time, and I was like, you know, I don't even want to be on this earth. High school me, you know. And he was like, don't you ever say that again. You know, he was like, quitting is for the weak, you know, and we don't do that in this family. At the end of the day, you're a Perez, and that means you're going to, you know, push through whatever life throws at you, but more so, you're not going to quit, because at the same time, even if you do commit suicide, you're not going to be welcomed into the gates of heaven. It's more so you're just going to burn for all eternity, and it'll all be for nothing. And more so, one thing that really stuck with me that he said is like, you're really giving this person so much power over you. And from that point on, I mean, me as a person, I never liked being told what to do. I guess that's what the behavioral issues really stemmed from. But more so, just let somebody have power over you and dictate like where you go in life really sucks. Like, there's so many things I want to do and so many things I want to accomplish. But to think if I was still in that past relationship, I'd probably be stuck in a place where I wouldn't have accomplished those things. I honestly, if it wasn't for that breakup a while back and having that talk with my dad, I don't think I'd be in the position that I'm in now. So you got to thank those small steps and those humble beginnings and those.
You got to see the bigger picture.
Exactly. Those are what made me me. And at the end of the day, it's all how you take it in. You because there's somebody who could straight. Well, it reminds me of this quote, where this guy. Well, there's two brothers, and they have the same dad, and the dad's a raging alcoholic and beats on the wife and everything. The first brother, he became just like the dad, raging alcoholic, beats on his wife, and he's like, when asked like what made you you, and these are twin brothers, he's like, well, my dad was a raging alcoholic, so that's all I'm ever gonna become. And then the second brother ended up being like really successful, and asked the same question. He's like, well, my dad was a raging alcoholic, so he was something I never wanted to become. And so it's all in how you perceive things, take it in, and basically move forward past them, honestly.
Yeah. Wow, bro. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks, man. I never really share that with anybody, but for the sake of the podcast, I'm going to let open a little bit.
I think that helps you a lot too.
It does, because honestly, it felt like a weight on my chest, because this is a talk I really haven't had with my girlfriend in depth too much. But just releasing this, it's something I feel almost embarrassed of, because my father isn't the best, nor is my mom, but they try their best. And honestly, to me, that's all that really matters.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I talked with my friend the other day, and we came to the conclusion that, like, the intention is what really matters. Like, well, you can mess up as many times as possible, but the intention behind it, and, like, what kind of should carry over is why you're doing something, and, like, do you really care at the end of the day? If it was are you gonna take a bullet for me, the answer would be yes. Then that's what matters. And bro, so many people wouldn't and don't have that same mindset that you do.
Yeah,
a lot of people carry that.
I have a lot of friends that don't have that same mindset, and
it's easy. It's very easy to succumb to it.
It's like a comforting feeling knowing that you could just play victim. Yeah, and not take any blame for anything. But I take full responsibility of everything. And I know you wanted to bring this up, but just recently, the Sherman Williams book that I had.
Oh.
Bro, as much as I want to blame other people, and as much as it was in the possession of somebody else.
So what happened?
It was never found. But
so
I'm hoping
explain what happened.
Yeah. So, we were recording for the house. We were recording a small project, basically like introducing the house and everything. And there was these people that came up to the house. They were really interested. So I had my business cards in my Sherman Williams book. Also in that Sherman Williams book was $8,000 cash. So I go get the book. I pull the business cards out. I give it to them. Cool, whatever. So we're over here filming, and you're like, you should put that book down. You probably look more professional if you're speaking without a book in your hand, this and that. So I was like, okay. I hand it over to my cousin, who's helping us build this house as well. And I don't know. I guess time got skewed, and wherever the book ended up after it ended up in his hands, it was gone. And he checked his car. We checked the house like 3 times, everywhere, and it just happened to be gone. So it probably dwelled on my mind for 3 days before I just let go of it. And I was like, you know what? It's a lost cause. Because most of the time you just got to know when to cut your losses and when to stop dwelling on something. And at the same time, put a different light on it. And by that, I mean, I hope somebody found it. And if you don't return it, it is what it is. But at the same time, I know that $8,000 can change somebody's life. I've been blessed to put in the position I was in. So, I mean, $8,000 on top of what I'd be making is awesome. But I know I probably just bought somebody a new car that they could do Uber Eats in, or I just helped somebody pay their mortgage for the next 2 months, or you know, something. So I give it up to God because I know He put it in the right hands.
What goes around comes around.
Yep. And I know, give it up to God, give enough faith, and He'll multiply it times 100.
Amen. Sheesh, man.
That book, it still haunts me to this day, man.
Remember, I usually give the gifts last, but I'll give you the gift now. So
Yes.
I got you a book because I know what happened. So here you go. This is your new book.
Yo, say less.
Yeah.
This is only going to end up in my hands. It's never leaving, bro. Holy shit. Same leather and everything.
Yeah. You may want to take out that sticker.
Got you. But thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I usually give like reading books, but I was like, this guy doesn't need a reading book. He needs an actual book.
Yeah. Oh my God. I had so many notes in there, and I had this credit strategy that I was coming up with too. But,
maybe,
you know, everybody
just made somebody a millionaire, bro.
I think so. Like, there was so much like value in that book other than the 8,000. Like, somebody could have really like just made $1 million with that book, honestly. They don't even know it.
All right, bro. So that's a great story, and I do want to touch upon that again later on. But right now I have an outline.
Yeah.
So you told me that your mom pretty much kicked you out of the house, whatever, allegedly, 13, 14, and you went to live with your dad. I've learned throughout my life that you become who you grow up and what they teach you when you're younger. Usually, in a normal scenario, it will be your mom and your dad. And children tend to be more attached to the mom than the dad. But when it comes to real life problems, they tend to go to their dad more. And that's what builds them that character. So you kind of need that mother love. In this case, however, I feel like your mom was kind of both figures at the start for you. And then later on, your dad was the one that taught you more about the real life stuff. Not about being strict, but about making inflection point decisions. About knowing when it was time to stop or when it was time to go. Like when he brought up the pride thing about your last name. It's like those are things that change you from being a kid to being a man. And that's really interesting to see you experience that. Not many people go through that.
Yeah, my dad just really instilled like a lot of testimonial faith. He brought me around some of his close friends, which I wouldn't be proud to call them friends or even acquaintances, but just hearing their stories and what happened to them, why they ended up in jail, what they're doing now, just really like resonated with me. And every conversation that I have with either him or his friends always ends in, but you're still young. You could still, do all these things. I was stupid back then, but I'm only telling you this so that you don't fall down the same path. And what I'm noticing with all of them is that, they say the same thing, but at the same time, they didn't have no role models. So at the end of the day, we do choose our role models. And though I stuck around my dad for a large portion of my life, I also hung around with people I knew had value. So another person who I'm proud to call a role model was like my brother. I didn't have a car at the time, so he would always like come down from Belleville and scoop me, and we just hit the gym during COVID. And during COVID, when the gyms were all closed, we were going all the way down to Pennsylvania, like borderline New Jersey.
Jesus.
Yeah, just to go to the gym. I still have videos from that.
Oh my
God,
bro.
Everybody was like, what gym are you going to? What Planet Fitness is open? I was like, Pennsylvania. They're like, you're making a drive all the way down there?
Republican states.
Yep. We're like, we got to, man. Because we had just started our gym journey too, and boom, gym shut down. And it's like, bro, why? Like, we can't stop. So, it's such a addictive behavior too, going to the gym. That release of oxytocin. So we chased it all the way down to Pennsylvania.
How's your experience with the gym? What has it taught you?
So discipline, consistency, and
Grit.
grit, pretty much they all go hand in hand, but more so building your temple. Because at the end of the day, this is what it is. We're just a conscious being within, this vessel. And I like to refer to this vessel, our human body, as a temple. And it's all how you maintain your structure. And people always view that as well. So I posted this video not too long ago, and this guy pulls this guy's hand, and he's like, you see these calluses on your hand, and you see the physique that you have. Any person that, walks your way, any person that you introduce yourself to, they automatically perceive everything on your body and every, appearance on you. And believe it or not, everybody judges a book on its cover. And if your cover is freaking swole, everybody's going to be like, wow, he's consistent, he's dedicated, but it takes time to get there. A lot of people cheat, take steroids to get there, but you could definitely tell the difference between somebody who's natty now and somebody who takes steroids. And I try to stay away from that. It's all temptation at the end of the day, but I like the title of natural and building my body up. I have a big frame as well. And everybody who sees me, they're like, wow, you're so tall. But now they could add on to that. Wow, you're so huge. Yeah, literally.
He could literally touch the roof with his head.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine being this tall and skinny. Like,
it doesn't go.
Yeah. Not even basketball players. They're skinny, but they're cut up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just.
I think the gym has helped you a lot in terms of mindset when it comes to what you do.
Yeah,
not
definitely.
giving up is about sticking through.
Yeah, through the hard times, through the bad times. There's times where I don't even want to go to the gym, but I make it a mission to get up every morning and just go. Right now, my gym's like packed. A lot of those New Year, New Me people, and bro.
Don't worry, bro. One more month.
I can't get no machine, no bench. I'm like stuck on the treadmill for like 30 minutes waiting for somebody to like get off my machine. But oh man,
those legs must be super good now. Then.
Yeah. I've been losing a lot of weight, too much cardio, man. I'm losing muscle now.
Bro, so that's so funny.
You're gonna see me like fucking stick legs and then big body on top.
You're like, I hit leg day every day, actually.
Yeah. Because where am I supposed to wait, Like, I'm just going to watch you from the end of the gym till you get off my machine.
How do you make time to go to the gym?
Shit, every morning, man. If I'm not waking up at like 5, then...
What's your routine like when it comes to that?
Yeah, so it depends on how I'm feeling in the morning. But
what time do you go to bed?
Like 9. I'm an old man. I shit you not. I don't stay past babies. Like 10:30. 10:30 is like if I'm eating late or I got home late. But usually 9:30 I knock out, and then 5 I'm just moving around, getting my bowels moving too. And then if I'm not going to the gym, then I'll sleep in probably around like 7:30ish, and then wake up, do my routine, and then drop my girl off and then go to the gym. But I would say like if I'm not at the gym at like 5, then I'm at the gym at like 9:30ish. And just trying to keep that routine going, always in the morning, never in the afternoon or never at night. But yeah, it's a great start to my day too. Just like almost like a rush of like confidence once you get out and then like into the real world. It's like putting on like a suit of armor almost, and then you're able to like take whatever attack comes your way. And I see attacks as like something on my character when somebody like tries to talk down on me or tries to talk to me a certain way. After hitting the gym, it's just like, whoa, bro. You have to talk to me with some respect. But muscle society, bro, is a real thing too. People see that on you and it's like automatic respect. I remember saying that when I first got into the gym. I want to join muscle society. because as soon as you walk into the room, how big you are, people watch how they speak to you. It's definitely a thing.
I mean, we're animals, so the
Mhm.
biggest animal is the most dominant one, is the alpha.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at the same time too, it's like I feel like people are always striving to get an upper hand on somebody too. So it's you know, I always come from a humble place, but at the same time I'm not afraid to invoke, I guess, my masculine behavior and that alpha energy.
Yeah, it's confidence, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's you see that a lot of the toughest guys, in terms of they can really take you down, are usually the nicest people.
Yeah.
And it's because they have nothing to prove.
The most humblest people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? I've been itching for a fight. But I don't really like go around and like, hey, you want to fight me? You want to do this? You want that?
Yo,
I'm just like waiting for the right guy.
I know some people that got some boxing gloves.
Bro, I'm down, man. Throw me into the ring.
The thing is that you're too big, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, what's our arm length does not match up, bro.
Yeah. I think it's what, 72 inches last time I measured.
Yeah. I get to look at I got a sick arm compared to you, bro.
Bro, reach is just crazy. But I would make it a fair fight. Like, I remember.
Yeah, how could we make it a fair fight?
I'd get down on my knees.
Oh man, bro, you said that you wanted to give back to your family, that you wanted to give back to your mother, and even though she kind of, I feel like that's what it is though, because even though she did get you out of the house, that's like that push that like birds give to their babies. They just make them fly on their own.
I think about that all the time, and I think like if she didn't kick me out, I wouldn't have like this perception on life. But at the same time, you also have to understand my mom too a little bit. She's I know she might be watching this, so she's a little crazy. She's a little crazy, let me tell you that. And say if I didn't take out the meat before she got home, or I didn't like do any of my chores, that was an ass beating. And you know, a lot of people are against hitting their kids, and you know, every time she did hit me, I viewed it as, now I view it as like a character building moment. But it was traumatizing. A lot of it, but being scared of my own mom. Yeah, and it worked out.
It's not being scared. It's being respectful.
Respectful, yeah.
Yes.
And I try keeping that respect, even till this day. There was one time.
Is that not, sorry to cut you off,
yeah.
But is that not the same type of fear that we have towards God? It's not that you're scared of him, it's that you respect them.
Yeah, and you don't really want to cross that border.
Exactly.
By disrespecting within somebody's household or kingdom in this case. Yeah, true. And yeah, my mom's just I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's just I'm able to view it from a different perspective, because even as a kid, like, you know, all those times where I did receive those beatings and everything was crazy, at the end of it all, she put a roof over my head, she gave me clothes, she gave me something to eat. You know, I did lash out on her one time, but I gave her another phone call a couple weeks later, and we hashed it out and basically broke these walls that didn't know were up, but were up. So by that I mean, do you really know your parents? Like, do you know what your parents did in the past that made them who they are? You know, and a lot of the times we don't ask these questions to our parents, like, how was high school life? How was life finding your first job? You know, how was, you know, just your first heartbreak? You know, these are honestly what made our parents our parents. And, you know, I never really sat down with my mom until just recently and got to understand what makes her tick, you know, and same thing with my dad, trying to understand what makes him tick, why he finds enjoyment in certain things. And once you're able to break down those walls, I feel like you know who you're working with now. what I want to say on that is just, yeah, if you have an opportunity to sit down and talk with your parents, definitely figure out who they are as a person. It definitely help you understand who you are as a person, because certain traits that they have that you can't really put a name to it, once you realize where they got those traits from and how they pushed it onto you, I think you're able to grow as a person. And one of those traits being, like, just to give you a quick example, vengefulness. So my mom had this problem with every time she made a bad interaction with somebody, or somebody may have did her wrong, her next resort was revenge, and whatever avenue it may be, it was never really physical, but revenge in an aspect of destroying somebody's character, whether it be through social media or, whatever ways, just maybe spreading something through people that are close to that person. I got a glimpse of that within myself, like during my last breakup, and it was something that I didn't want to keep instilled in me. So I brought that up to her. She acknowledged it. I also acknowledged it within myself, and now whenever I feel like that trait's like coming about, I just, don't even feed into it. Try to give it no energy and find a different solution to the problem that's at hand.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's the beauty of speaking it out loud rather than repressing it within you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I tend not to speak about it that much, but I tend to write it a lot.
Okay.
I have a big document on Google Docs from 2 years back. I started it, and I've been writing it on it every day since. And that's what I do, and I feel like that talking is what helps you reflect on it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't want to get an answer. We just want to be listened to and kind of understood. It's like talking to yourself in a mirror. You just don't want to hear anything back. Just say it out loud.
True.
Jeez, bro. Man, a lot of psychology into that.
Yeah. But this is the mind of an entrepreneur, because honestly, it's all the foundational things that everybody does receive at some point in their life. But it's at the end of the day, the main takeaway is how you perceive this all.
Yes. I will challenge that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is the perception. Yes, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everybody has different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to talk to a lot of people through this podcast on how they've gotten successful, quote unquote, whatever you define success as. Just be happy and content with yourself. I think that's the best definition for success. And they all come from different backgrounds. Some have really broken families. Others have really good families. And others just don't even have a family at all. Mm. But regardless, it is not that trajectory that builds them. It's their mindsets that builds them. Mm-hmm. So it's a matter of what's within you that really speaks out and determines whether you're going to be successful, aka happy in life.
Yeah. I'm going to drop a gem real quick. You probably know this, but speaking on that mindset topic real quick, as we know, Instagram feeds us all sorts of junk, but all sorts of gems as well. So a big thing when I was going through my mindset change was unfollowing like a bunch of like stupid pages that I used to follow, and started following like more mindset, more business avenue, like Instagram pages, and basically rewriting the algorithm that was already set for me to feed me different things. So one thing that I think I want to give to people, if they watch this, is change your Instagram algorithm, because that's a big part of somebody's mindset. If you're being fed like women all the time, every day, then it kind of like skews the way you like perceive women and also like talk to them. But following like, like men's health, business mindset pages, it'll just give you a different outlook on how things work, but more so give you more of a chance to take action on some of the ideas that you have like, brewing in your head. Because I honestly see that you get a lot of your inspiration from some of the podcasts I watch. Like I love the Lex Friedman intros, bro. It
Yeah.
goes so hard.
Yeah. I it's funny that you bring that up. The first comment that I ever got for this podcast was Lex Friedman try to be.
Oh.
And I was like, no, actually no. Because in my head, the person that inspired me, like as a podcaster, like the people that I really wanted to sort of like be like, not really be like, but like that I wanted to have the same mindset as was actually George Janko. It wasn't Lex Friedman. I think it's because Lex Friedman is just so freaking smart, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not that smart, so I'm not even gonna try it. But George Janko is just more open minded. I'm like, I could do that, and I feel like I am more towards that personality. So I was like, so George Janko is more like me. So I would like to be more like him rather than Lex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't view it as like, you know, trying to be like somebody.
Yeah, no.
Because a lot of people that messes them up. You have some people that try reinventing the wheel or just making a new wheel in total. And by that, I mean, there's no new unique podcast. Every podcast is almost an inspiration off of each other. And so are businesses.
Isn't that music, bro?
Music as well.
Music gets remastered over and over, and it's the same beats that were from the 90s, 80s, and all of this.
So imagine somebody commenting under, I don't know, what's a new song that came out? Future, and he used a beat from way back that was famous from an old song. So imagine somebody commenting under Future song and being like, you know, Alicia Keys wannabe. You know? Nobody's gonna really do that, but there's probably somebody out there that would, and I feel like those are just haters. But there's inspo all around us, and I mean it's what makes the world go around. I building a house, we take inspo from literally the house across the street and, you know, other projects that we've done.
Yeah, and you add your own spice to it.
Exactly. And this has a lot of your own spice to it.
Yeah, I think so. When I started doing the intros, my friend, I was trying to have it more presentable. I think that's what I was aiming at. And then I was like, if I do it like that, I'm not going to keep on doing it because I feel uncomfortable. So then I was like, I'll just be me. I'll just, whatever. I don't care if my hair's messy or whatever. I'll just do it. And my friend was like, that's more like you. And I'm like, I didn't even mention it to anybody. I just felt like it was right. And I was like, you noticed it. That's different.
It's a comforting vibe. Whenever I watch your podcast, it doesn't feel like you're pushing anything onto me. It feels like I could like cook to this, maybe just like sit down, listen, maybe like do some work to this. It's comforting, and you don't want to like push a vibe onto somebody that isn't like you, you know, and you're growing at an organic pace too. Yeah. Already at what, almost 200 followers.
Almost, yeah. It's been good, dude.
Yeah.
I was looking at the views for what was it? TikTok, I think. Yeah, it was for TikTok. And I was looking at it and I'm like, damn, today's reel was really good. Like I really messed with it. And I was like, it's not getting that many views though. And I was like a little pissed off because I felt like that was a good one. And then I asked myself, I was like, well, let's say it's 200 people. 200 people is a lot of people. And if 200 people saw it and like they messed with it, damn, that's so powerful right there. I don't need more than that. That's enough.
You impacted 200 people.
Yeah, and I was like, imagine 200 people in a room. Bro, they wouldn't fit in my 4-story house right now. They would not. So I was like, that's enough. That's perfect. I like that number actually.
And you gotta also understand too, as you get bigger, you're also gonna encounter people that always have something to say, and also just people's opinions. They're almost gonna like skew almost like your opinion and how you view things. But
that's in life. I think that's something that you learned a lot from your parents' friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But more so just keeping your character and integrity through it all.
Integrity.
Integrity is a big one. And not letting anybody like mess with it. A lot of people will, but as long as you could keep your character and integrity through it all, I think you're gonna grow real far, bro.
Yeah, man. I agree with that. That applies to everything. Yes, to everything that you start and any passion that you may have. That's definitely the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know yourself better than anybody, and you know how to navigate yourself and your emotions and your character and your triggers. So it's a matter of understanding it and harnessing that energy.
Yeah.
1,000%. I loved your vision, bro, for what it is that you want to get to. It's the same end result that I keep on saying over and over with all these people. It's ambition, action, association. It's always the end result: to serve, to give back. I don't know what it is. I'm still figuring it out. And I think that has become sort of like the purpose of this podcast. It's like, why is it that like everybody has the same thing, bro? I don't know why. Every single person. When I started this, I did not have that intention. I just wanted to like listen to dope people.
Yeah.
And learn from them. And I'm like, dude, there's nothing to learn. That is the formula. Nobody says it so simply, but yet every single person has the same exact trajectory.
Everybody says the same thing. It's just a matter of, when is it going to actually stick?
Yeah.
I had so many people just tell me, like, you have all these great ideas. And, and I hear people speak about their ideas too, but it's the ones that actually take action on them.
Yes.
Because everybody has the same ideas, thoughts. I know this one guy who wanted to start a hot dog stand. And I know somebody who started a hot dog stand. The difference between the guy who had the idea and the guy who actually started it was that he actually started it. And the guy who was telling me his hot dog idea, like starting a cart business or whatever, I was like, yes, that's possible. But he was also preaching to the wrong choir. I was around some of his family members, and his family members just kept shitting on him. And me, I wasn't going to shit on him. I was actually happy that he had that idea of being, an entrepreneur. But at the same time, I had this problem too, and you're going to have your family, the close ones, people that you love and appreciate and hold on a higher pedestal. They're going to shit on your ideas the most. And it's not until it works that they're like, oh.
But they do it from a place of love.
Exactly.
You got to understand that your love for that idea is more powerful than the love that they have towards you. Because for them, it's just an idea. For you, it's a reality.
Exactly. And they don't want to see you fail. And I definitely understand that.
Yeah. Sheesh. To serve. Why is that for you the main thing?
What do you mean by like to serve?
You said your goal was to take care of your family and those around you.
Yeah, so
why would you want that coming from such a tough childhood? It sounds like you kind of were a lone wolf like all your childhood and even now in your adulthood.
Pretty much my main purpose is just to like you said, serve, but like the ones that are really close to me and the ones that I love. I don't want to like sound racist or anything, but
it's just opinions.
Yeah. And one culture or I guess race that I look at a lot is the Jewish culture, and Muslims as well, how they're so wealthy and how they even obtain that wealth. Then you go in a little deeper and then you realize their families are huge. They're rarely broken up. And even though, you hate your Uncle Tommy's running the family business and running an aspect of it, because at the same time, you also have to understand you're only one person and you can't accomplish so much. But at the same time, too, if you have a lot of assets and a lot of value that you bring, you have to be willing to trust somebody to take that on. And I feel like at the end of the day, if you have a strong family, regardless of the arguments you may have, you're going to sit at the dinner table at the end of the day.
That's because you have a culturally strong fundamentals. I recently watched this reel from the president of Mexico. Incredible, bro. It was incredible. It's from 90 Minutes. They were interviewing him and they're like trying to bash him pretty much. And they say, why is it that Mexico is the mass producer of fentanyl?
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, well, actually, Mexico is not the only producer of fentanyl. It's actually America, Canada, and Mexico.
Mm.
And then he goes on to explain that the chemicals to build fentanyl don't even come from this area. They come from China, from Asia.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, the reason is that in America, there's so much consumption. And so we have to rely to make it. And then they're like, well, then why does Mexico make it? And he explained that it's because Americans crave it. And then he says that the reason why Americans crave it is because there is no culture in America. There is no family nucleus.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have no morals. And then she's like, well, yes, but in Mexico, they also consume it. And he's like, no, if you look at the statistics, in America, it is incredibly high compared to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
In Mexico, there is no drug problems that you see here. You don't see homelessness that are drugged. You don't see that as you see in California, in Oregon, in New York. You don't see that in our countries. Even though I'm Colombian, Colombians have that fame of cocaine.
Yeah.
But you don't see Colombians taking cocaine.
Yeah.
What is that? Pablo Escobar wasn't known for being a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
He was known for being an entrepreneur that sold cocaine.
Yeah.
Why? There would be no Pablo Escobar if there wasn't any consumer.
He was just trying to keep his family alive. And it was really all for them.
Yeah.
He burnt $1 million just to keep his daughter warm.
Was it actually true? I keep on seeing that everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. He was all his places were getting raided, and they were at one safe house, and yeah, he threw $1 million.
Did you see this in Narcos, or is it actually fact checked?
I think it was in Narcos, but I'm not sure if it was fact checked.
I'm gonna have to ask ChatGPT on that one.
Yeah, it was getting more advanced as we speak.
Yeah, bro. This is a tangent. Today I was thinking about AI. How do you feel about AI?
Bro, it's crazy. I use it on so many different aspects.
Right.
And I don't see it as something that's going to take over. I see it as something we could collaborate with on a different scale.
Beautiful.
It's Google, but more in tuned with the human language. They're already, NVIDIA just announced that they have something for the medical field to help doctors in their diagnosis of people. And also call centers are laying off almost like 700 people to use something in terms of like AI to answer these calls and help people out. And the more that I think about it, the more that I see it's detrimental to some jobs that don't really provide much value other than, customer service. And it's making a big impact in ways that, we're saving lives. And it's a win-lose situation, but this has been the world from the very start. We've always been adapting. Imagine the people who thought the textile mills where they would, turn cotton into shirts, and that job was going to be forever. No, we have eventually made machines that were making those shirts.
I believe it was Elon Musk. He said that, I actually don't want to quote him. I don't think it was him. But I think I read it from something about Elon Musk. And he says that if you lose your job because of an AI, you're pretty much incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
Because an AI is just set up, it's programmed to perform a task. You're able to multitask and to overcome yourself.
Mm-hmm.
AIs don't have that. And so that leads me to ask you, how do you define AI? Like if you were to give it a dictionary definition.
Dictionary definition, I would say a computer software that you can collaborate with to elaborate certain ideas, theories, topics, and bring it to a more realistic, I guess, foundation. Because I'm pretty sure like if we had Chat GPT way back then when they were coming up with the Big Bang Theory, they probably would have narrowed down their search to which it is now. I just recently saw an infographic on this, that the asteroid, it was an asteroid that hit on the opposite side of the Earth, which caused volcanoes to erupt throughout the planet, covering some dinosaurs with molten rock, and then destroying plant life through, the ash that it like put up into the air. But with what we had back then, we can only base so much off of like certain little things. But you're asking something, Chat GPT in this instance, you're asking it to basically scour all the research papers, scour the internet, scour basically a database of the human collective mind to help you come to a more precise answer. It's basically you're using more than 1 million people to help you on one task.
Yeah.
That's how I view it.
It's beautiful, bro. It's an incredible tool, man.
Mm-hmm.
It is insane.
And it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah. It really is just a catalog.
Mm-hmm.
It's a catalog of published text.
And a lot of people are scared.
I don't think you should be scared. I think you should be excited.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't have a mind of its own yet. We give it a mind of its own by asking it questions. It cannot do it by itself. It needs us.
Exactly.
So it kind of works hand in hand. We're still in the reins of it.
Yeah.
Kind of directed where to go.
It's those movies like I, Robot that really like instilled that fear into a lot of people.
Yes, it is that.
And then now that NVIDIA, I forget, ChatGPT partnered up with a company that's making robots, and it's actually in the robot. I forget which company it is, but you ask it certain questions or even to describe what's on this table, and it'll tell you exactly what's on this table. So, and then you look at Boston Dynamics.
Yeah,
their
bro.
robots could flip.
Oh my God. That's the one that Tesla teamed up with.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's insane. But you think about it like this.
It's perspective.
I see it as saving lives. We don't have to send our men out into the field no more. Work injuries come down a bit further. We'll start having a population that's, on a greater scale without having,
the
so
quality
many
of
children.
life will be so much better.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
But what I also want to touch on is, as the quality of life gets better, do you feel as though we're going to move to a generation similar to WALL-E, where the quality of life is so good that we don't have to do anything anymore?
I think that's interesting because you look at the trajectory of history, right? And you see how much we develop as a society. And it kind of, the printing press that skyrocketed us. Then it's like computers, that was another inflection point. But then if we stop kind of seeking what's the next thing, we kind of start staying static. Who's going to fix the robots if there's nobody working? So we're going to start going down. So I think WALL-E's not really a good example because even then they have the spaceships, they have the robots, and they still have some knowledge. I think you become complacent. I don't think there will be any Elon Musk or Steve Jobs because you're going to be lazy.
Yeah.
And I think those that have those capabilities will be the world leaders and will control the currency.
Yeah. Yeah. I see it as the people who are ahead of the curve are going to be able to control a large portion of this. And the people who stay behind, it's going to be almost near impossible to catch up.
Yeah, the value of something is determined by the time that you're in it, by the necessity of it at the moment.
Like, not to sound envious or make anybody sound envious, but I like that your parents set you up, and we talked about this briefly, but not a lot of people are blessed with parents to set them up for a greater future. I just had a friend, he's a severe alcoholic, and he just had a daughter, but I keep telling him, I was like, you got to be willing to work a little bit harder now to leave something behind, because you got to understand the cards that we were dealt, and you got to understand that if you deal these same cards to that daughter that you just have imagine the future that you're setting her up for. And it's only going to get worse. Home prices keep going up. Prices of products and jobs as well keep going up. But at the same time, too, I think I recently read this article. There is no middle class anymore. It's just lower class and then like upper middle class, basically.
Yeah, it's naive to neglect the reality that we're living in.
Exactly. And, you know, though I may have, say, $8,000 and I lost it, that $8,000 probably like pushed somebody to a new limit that they weren't able to achieve.
But look at that, bro. You came from this background, and yet you're doing all these incredible things, which we haven't even touched upon.
Mm.
But that just goes to prove that somebody that's way better off, that has a better start in life through their parents, can do these things as well.
Mm-hmm.
There is no difference. It's just a mindset. Why is it that a lot of the children of multimillionaires end up losing all the money?
True.
Is the mindset that they have.
Yeah. And a lot of them fall victim to drugs. I recently, I forget where it was, but I think it was the Juanesogo show. I saw this on, and he had a lot of rich friends, and a lot of the ones that he hung around, they came from, you know, mommy and daddy's money, but a lot of them squandered it because, you know, you tell them like, oh, you're so blessed to have this, but they were like, you have no idea what it's like to be rich because you have problems on a different scale. Your risk is on a different scale. So I see it as, you know, everybody struggles with something differently.
Yeah.
But, yeah, as you do get up on like the pay scale, problems do get a lot greater, especially with the IRS. Man, I hate those guys. Yo, they gotta abolish that at some point. I think we're gonna move towards a generation. Did you see this? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Real
go,
big
go,
tangent.
Go. Please.
This is gonna bring me to another point that I have. But there's this guy. I forget which state he's running in, but he legally changed his name to literally anyone else, and he's gonna run for president. So that on the ballot, when it shows up as Donald Trump, Joe Biden, literally anyone else. And everybody in the comments were like, I'm definitely gonna vote for literally anyone else. But it begged the question in my head as to where we're heading as a generation. And honestly, you ask around, everybody's fed up with this system that was placed almost 100 years ago, fed up with the current taxations that we're living in now. And I think we're moving towards almost a new world order that eventually we're going to abolish the government that we have in place. And I think we spoke about this before. There hasn't been a government that lasted over 1,000 years. And I think we're reaching that mark with America where eventually we're just going to have to abolish the current government that we have now and then put in place something that's going to, you know, actually have people, you know, I guess, happy of the government that we have in place. And it's hard to make people happy, and I understand that. But at the same time, I think some of these laws that we placed almost 100 to 200 years ago should not be in place.
Yeah. I want to, another tangent. I think we're just going to keep on going down this rabbit hole.
Yes.
But it is important. I don't watch the news. I'm probably not the best person to talk about this, but I do enjoy the psychology part of it. And the whole thing with like Gaza and the Middle Eastern, I'm not aware of it. I really am not. But I was talking to my grandpa about it. And I know, I understand that it comes from religion, the reason why they're fighting for it. And it's because it's like the Holy Land and stuff. And Israel wants to claim it and this and that. But it's something that's been going on for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
And why do you need so much land? You know, it's like, what right do you have to determine this is my land?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. And it creates just so many wars for no reason, really.
Big part of it, I want to say, is how we mentioned before, playing the victim card is easy.
Yes, it is.
And I get that the Jewish people had it really hard when when it came to the genocide that the Germans brought upon them. I get that, but now you're bringing that upon Palestinians. It's just
feels
not making sense.
hypocritical. It really does. And I'm Christian, so I follow the Jewish religion a lot, and I do want to stand up to it. But how can I stand up to a side when I see that both want to murder each other? I don't agree with that, and therefore I choose to stay away from it and just avoid it as a whole.
And it's also dumb to think that they feel as though they're stopping something.
Yeah.
When in reality, you're just creating more soldiers.
What is the idea? It's like you believe that by killing everybody, you kill this idea. How dumb does that sound? You're murdering people because of an idea. Dude, that's a scary thing, man. When they killed Hitler, for example, do you think that the Nazis just stopped?
No.
It was a whole nation that believed the idea. So you would have to murder everybody, bro. That's millions and millions of people.
Exactly. But yeah, a lot of them, like, I talk to some of my Muslim friends and they're hard on the idea that that land belongs to them. I talk to some of my Jewish friends and they're really hard on the idea that, they have to wipe out Hamas. But they also keep bringing up this thing where it's like, if you feel bad for the Palestinians, you're with Hamas. And I don't think that's anywhere close to the truth. If anything, I'm on the side of human life.
Yeah.
And I think as a nation, we have to eventually come to the conclusion that we're all one. Eventually, we're going to be all mixed at some point in time.
Yeah.
Because you look at today's generation.
I mean, are we not already?
Yeah, like half
if you were
black,
to get
half,
not drug tested, DNA tested.
Yeah.
You're from everywhere, bro.
Everywhere. So this idea that they're pushing, totally stupid, but yeah, we're one race.
The
one
whole
nation.
thing, this reminds me of the Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be very controversial, but it's something that really struck out to me. I think that was a big change for me in my mindset. I'm looking for a J. Cole song.
Oh, speaking about J. Cole, I was actually thinking about referencing this, but Love Yours by J. Cole. Bro, I listen to that song every day, and I think that's what makes me a little more humble. It's just, imagine having a house, or what does he say? What's a big house without having people that love you in it?
Yeah.
Like, what's the whole point of it, And I thought about it on a different scale back when I was thinking about, like, buying a big house. I was like, I'm going to get something with high ceilings, and now I got to clean it. Now I got to buy furniture for it.
It's because you don't fit in something with low ceilings, bro.
Yeah, so I was like, what? I'll put my family in it, and they could do all the work for me. No, but other than that, it's just, what's having all these materialistic things if you're just going to consistently have haters and people who, are out to get you, just hate on everything that you have, but more so sharing that with people that have, like, a true caringness for you, I think makes it all worthwhile. That's, like, why I want to, like, kind of, like, push that, not push anything, but that's why I push to serve my close ones, because even though they sacrifice for me and they care for me as well, I kind of want to reciprocate that on a different scale by offering stability. Stability that we weren't offered at such a young age and we keep striving towards, but there's so many things that affect us on a day-to-day basis that it's even hard to save up like $2,000 for some of my close family members. And imagine me just coming in and you don't have to worry about that no more, and then we could actually have a proper family, meaning like it won't be as separated, and we won't have different people struggling, but we could actually come together like the Jewish people do and rent to each other, but more so help each other in any other aspect. One one thing I recently learned from this guy who's Jewish is he puts his family on payroll and pays them purposely less so that they can apply for food stamps and welfare and stuff, so that now you have free food, now you have a house, and you're basically receiving pay because it's all on paper. Basically, that's what they look at. But that's how they take advantage of the government. They employ their own and use that same documentation to take our own tax money.
That's genius.
Yeah.
I'm about to do that. I have 2 brothers. I think
that's
they'll
what
agree.
I'm saying. You just start a business, show them the business documents that you're paying them like a shitty ass wage, and then have them go apply for food stamps and stuff. And then, if anything, just pay them under the books, straight cash.
Allegedly. Yeah, I wanted to read you this thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big gem, bro. I hope nobody does that. So he says, he's talking about the Black Lives Matters movement after COVID when this was going on. Mm-hmm. And he was getting called out for not posting the black screen about Black Lives Matter. Mm. And personally, bro, I felt like this was very personal to me. This song is very personal to me because I was in a relationship and I had huge arguments during that time about the same topic. And then here comes one of the people that I look up to the most, J. Cole, and he takes my side. And it's like everybody was doing the same thing, saying Black Lives Matter. But to me, personally, even though people may not agree with it, to me personally, I never agreed with the thing of Black Lives Matter because to me, I was like, well, all lives matter. Mm-hmm. It is so hypocritical and naive to say that.
They'll try to change it on you when you say all lives matter because they're going to be like, oh, all lives matter, so we're just going to play a blind eye to what's happening to black people all around. Yeah. It's like, no, I get it that in some places within the United States, predominantly down south, they stigmatize black people, mm-hmm. and you get pulled over a lot more often than the average white person, and you deal with a lot of discriminatory things, but at the same time, it's not everywhere, and that's not how we all think. It's like
if a white man walks into a black neighborhood, mm-hmm. what's gonna happen? It's the same thing.
Exactly.
It's
black people stigmatize white people way more often than white people stigmatize.
It goes both ways. It goes hand in hand. That's the thing. And to say that one is more important than the other is wrong. Mm-hmm. If you want equality, then you should start with equality. Exactly. You should start with what you preach.
Exactly.
And that's what I believe in. And so he says, okay, I'm just going to read this. Mm-hmm. So this person came after him, somebody that was well off, and he says, she strikes me as somebody blessed enough to grow up in conscious environment with parents that know about the struggle for liberation, and in turn, they provide her with a perspective and awareness of the system and unfairness that afflicts them, and the clearest understanding of what we gotta do to get free. And the frustration that fills her words seem to come from the fact that most people don't see. Just because you're woke and I'm not, that doesn't mean that ain't no reason to talk like you're better than me. How you gonna lead when you're attacking the very same people that really do need the stuff that you're saying? Instead of conveying your holier, come help us get to speed. Mm-hmm. It's the reason it took me is the reason why it took us 200 years for our ancestors just to be free. Mm. And I think that's what's important. If you're gonna lead, you should lead by example. Mm-hmm. If you want equality, then be equal with everybody. Mm-hmm. And be kind to everybody, because then you're just playing the pity card.
Mm-hmm. What I like about the Martin Luther King movement, the boycott and everything, it was a whole lead by example movement. But more so, they weren't pushing this ideology onto people. It was basically, he would preach about it, but his goal wasn't to make you feel less than who you are. It was to have more respect for the people around you. And it wasn't violent, it could have been, but at the same time, You know, they non-violently protested the way things were. And to touch upon that topic that you just brought up, it's leading by example, not just like trying to push this agenda with so much force and violence, but more so showing people that this can be achieved just by peacefulness and doing it the correct way. I think a lot of people nowadays with that whole woke movement, they're so eager to onboard people, and they're so eager to have people perceive the way things are perceived by them, that it just kind of turns people off. It's almost like a sales tactic, and the moment you start like pitching your sales thing to somebody, automatically they want to shut the door in your face.
Yeah.
But like with religion, the reason why I'm like so into it is because I had people lead by example. For example, my grandmother, she wouldn't preach God all the time to me. She wouldn't be like, oh, you need to do this because it says this in the Bible, blah, 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 blah. She literally showed me what it's like to be a God-fearing woman. She got up every day, she cooked, she cleaned, but more so when she stepped outside and conversated with people, it was from a loving like place, and she would joke around with people, but she would never like, talk shit about somebody, or, that just wasn't her character. And I feel like we're tested every day to show what our true characters are. But, it's one thing to lead by example, and it's another thing to actually practice what you preach is what they call it.
Wow, dude. I wish I would have met your grandmother.
Oh my gosh, she was awesome. She would say like the funniest things. I mean, one thing that really stuck with me till this day is fake it till you make it. I used to go into high school. A lot of people could vouch for me on this. Just dressed up. I missed the chance to work in Purging LLC. And so, I was looking for jobs or whatever, but at the same time, I just kind of held myself to a higher value. I saw everybody else was like coming in with suits, ties, and stuff. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to come in with the same attire. And once I started holding myself to a higher like value, other people started like feeling that energy off of me. And every interview that I ended up going to, I just ended up rocking. I was never like really rejected from a job, but more so it was because I wasn't telling people how I viewed myself. I was showing people how I viewed myself, to tie it back into leading by example. But
it's the same formula, bro.
Exactly. But yeah. Until this day, like I kind of stopped wearing the whole suits and stuff like after college, because now I'm just not in a space to like really impress anybody. Like I got my girlfriend, I got everything I need. I don't really need like the fanciest whips, the watches, or anything like that. If anything, that sets me back. But yeah, it's not about the materialistic things.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. When the people that want the materialistic stuff are the ones that always end up at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that don't want it are the ones that become successful. It's ironic.
Yeah. I have a couple friends that back in the days, they were really into sneakers, and I just couldn't understand the idea of spending, especially in my size. I'm a size 13.
Damn. Jeez.
$280 to $300 for a pair of shoes, Jordans and stuff. And I just couldn't understand spending that type of money when it's almost like the same price for like a PS5, But you're getting something that's eventually going to get worn down and beaten and lose its value unless you keep it in good condition. But what's the point in buying sneakers if you're not going to wear it? So same thing with a car. My Honda CRV, bro. I'm keeping that thing till the brakes fall off. because
That thing will last longer than you, bro.
exactly. No, it really would. But yeah, it's you gotta ask yourself at the same time. It's like, why am I buying this? Before I even buy anything, I give it a year before I actually buy it, because I find that back in the days when I used to buy things, especially like my computer setup, I bought it and then like barely touched it, and at the time I wanted it and I was saying what I wanted it for, and I was just like convincing myself that I needed it. But then when you actually get it, it's like, okay, I have it. I could have done all this shit from my phone, but now I got a computer set up. So what's the real point? It just really just set me back. And at some point in time, you just got to realize, yeah, why are you doing it? I look at my cousin, he has a Corvette. There's a reason why he has a Corvette. It's not just to like flaunt, play with. People view that as like a status symbol. And in the space that he's in, he's able to connect with a lot more people and obtain more clients because they see he's driving a Corvette. And if they see that you're able to attain something like that, then it puts you on a different pedestal. But at the same time, I'm just 24 years old. What do I need people to view me as, At the same time, it's like they see me driving something like that, they're going to be like, oh, he's a douchebag, or, oh, that's daddy's money or something like that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, parts for that thing is so expensive. Yeah. I had a talk with my friend recently, and I was like, I could buy a Tesla right now, but the maintenance on that thing, insurance, because I'm young, it just wouldn't make sense. But at the same time, I could do the maintenance to my car. I don't have to take it to no dealership or anything. It makes me more mechanically inclined, and
guess what? It'll get you to the same place.
Exactly, same place. It's actually cheaper on gas than a lot of big vehicles out there. But bro, yeah,
you don't need much.
Not at all.
Yeah, you gotta learn to balance your wants and your needs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro. I think. Yeah. I really want to ask you a couple of things. So, you're 24 years old. You might be the youngest person I've ever met to buy a house. I'm pretty sure you are. And yeah. I'm pretty sure this is...
it's crazy. I actually met people who started at like 19, 20. But not until I got into the space that I met those people. But... I look at those people. There's this one kid, Markov Development Group, is his thing on IG. His name's Michael. He graduated from University Charter High School in Jersey City. At the age of 19, while he was in class, he was making a real estate deal. And of course, his family got him into it because imagine trying to tackle school and be in real estate at the same time. It'd be impossible. But he started at the age of 19, and from then on, he just kept consistent with it. But I think most notably, he's 29 today, and he's doing big projects. Like, he just never stopped, and he makes majority of his money like through fix and flips and right now tearing buildings down, buying them for like a high price, and then building something he can make a profit off of. He's one of those people that will make an offer on your house around like 600 and some change, what the market's basically valuing it as, and he'll tear the whole thing down just to build something new off of it.
Damn.
But me, I'm like touch-ups. Like I can't do that just yet.
But that's still impressive for somebody your age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people buy a house in their lifetime.
Dude. You gotta look at your parents,
Yeah, they're still renting.
Yeah, a lot of them, bro. Most of them, especially Hispanic parents, man, in America, they're afraid to take action because it's a brand new culture, it's a brand new system. It's very hard. a lot of people will give the excuse that they don't have the money.
Mhm.
And I know that it's the same way, bro. And I believe that if you give wise, you'll find an excuse for everything instead of just taking the action. So you're the living proof that it is possible to overcome any obstacle if you really want it bad enough. So like I wanna get your 2 cents from for like putting that mindset aside. Like, it's really difficult to raise the capital to purchase a house, but you did it. It's like how what motivated you to do that? Like what was your thing?
Well, when I had the cash, I was like, I knew for a fact that I wanted to flip a house because my cousin was doing it. I would see him doing it on IG all the time. So I was like, back when I was working at AutoZone, I had to be like probably 20, 21 at the time. I took a picture of my name tag and I said, I'm going to buy a house at the age of 25. And of course, it meant hunkering down, not really like going out too much. But once I realized it was a difficult task to complete, the next idea was, how could I actually complete this, but not on my lonesome? So I did partner with some people, with my business partner who I'm currently partnered with on this project. On paper, they wouldn't have lent me anything. I have the money, but at the same time, I don't have that buying power. So I had to partner with somebody who had the basically documents to prove everything. And with his help, as well as his investment into the project, we were able to make this happen. But how I got to that point was just,
look at that, bro.
saving.
Ambition, action, association again.
Association, the biggest one, because you can't complete anything without a team.
Yeah, but I mean, you took the photo. That was the ambition from the very start.
Yeah.
You took the action of not wanting to go out and focusing, head down.
Yeah.
Association.
Yeah, shit. You broke it down pretty well, man.
It's the same for everybody. Every single person I've met.
Yeah. And trust me, it's hard, man. I was recently talking to a friend of mine, and he's a bit lost right now. And I was telling him, there's two types of people in this world. There's the ones that want to get healthy, want to go to the gym, want to strive for goals bigger than, what they dream of. And then you got the friends that just, that's normal to them. So going to the gym, being healthy, having goals, that's normal to people like that. Then you have the different enclave of people who drink, smoke, go out all the time, and that's normal to them. And you think like, well, both are fun, both are kind of cool to do, but at the same time, it's where it's going to bring you in life. I had people I had to cut off, unfortunately, who would just get blackout drunk almost every Saturday night, and I just didn't understand why. And bro, I was like wasting money. And you got to think like they were doing it for a different purpose. And every time I was in that club, bro, I get that rush, that idea over my head, whether it's drunk or high. I'm thinking, damn, I have a bigger purpose in this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really belong here.
That happens to me when I go out clubbing a lot, bro.
Yeah.
I have to step out. I'm like, nah, fam. I shouldn't be here right now. Like, I should be asleep to get up early tomorrow and get going.
Exactly. I hung out with a person who was real young, just graduated high school, and we were having a good time. They joined our group, and when I was like talking to them on the side, they just had no goals or ambition. The next goal that they had in mind was, of course, renting out a place. But I was like, what do you want to do after that? I'm like, I don't know. And you'd be surprised how many people just don't know the next step or even plan ahead. They just think, hey, I'm just working till.
But why does that happen? Let's figure that out.
Yeah.
Why does that happen? A person like that.
I think they get stuck into the rat race, but more so.
Why do they get stuck into the rat race?
Honestly, their environment and the people they hang around. I don't think they.
Define their environment.
So this person's environment would just be friends that wanted to go out, have fun. I don't think they ever met somebody like me. Like, not to sound like egotistical or anything like that, but when they were talking to me, they were like, wow, it seems like you really thought everything out. And I was a couple years older than that person. And I was like, I mean, it seems like it, but I'm way far from where I want to be, you know?
Yeah. And if you look at the bigger picture, bro, and you like see like somebody that's 70s, like you two are the same.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of people are comfortable and complacent. So I think that's another driving factor. People who don't want to push the boundaries of what they can actually achieve. Another friend of mine, the alcoholic, he's comfortable. He doesn't want to achieve anything else. He's fine with his 9 to 5. He comes home, and right after he comes home, he drinks and then goes to sleep and follows the same routine. And he finds comfort in that. But to me, I feel like he's always escaping responsibilities. And by that, I mean, you still have rent to pay and you're like living paycheck to paycheck.
What was his childhood like?
Horrible. His dad was an alcoholic himself. His mom died at a young age. But, you know, every time I talk with him, he's always grateful that he has a friend like me, because he just hasn't had people talk to him the way I talk to him. You know, he was in special ed growing up as a kid. And, you know, I think of the way the world stigmatizes him as like somebody who's unable to learn. And he basically took on that characteristic.
What should you do with a person like that?
Who feels like they're unable to learn and who doesn't have enough
ambition.
What
do you think?
Let them rock. Because unfortunately, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink it. And I've been at that watering hole for so long, waiting for this dude to drink it. Helped him as far as, you know, doing taxes with him, showing how to do that, but he never grasped the concept. Just like helping him with so many things. Just recently, like helping him get his license, because this was something on the back burner for so long, because he got disheartened when he like initially failed the test. And, you know, I noticed a large portion of his life, people stigmatized him and told him like what he was going to be and what he can't be. But I just look at it like this. The same person like Elon Musk, who has 10 fingers, has a brain like me, I'm able to accomplish the same things they can. It's just on a large portion of it's problem solving. But for somebody like him, I mean, you just gotta let them rock. Because what they're really waiting for is that fire to ignite underneath their ass to eventually start that ambition, you know, going for them. And right now the fire underneath his ass is that baby he just had. And now he's actually, you know, sobering up just a little bit on the weekends. And
it's a start.
You know, accomplishing certain things like getting his license, because he knows that's necessary, especially when you have a baby and you got to bring them to doctor's appointments and stuff.
I believe everybody has a different trajectory. And sometimes your ambition comes in later. Yeah. And it's a matter of testing it and failing at it.
I was lucky enough to have my lessons early on, as opposed to later on.
I think that's the power of your parents and your environment, what it does to you. If you're raised by, you know, mom and dad, like, and they're always looking after you, you're not able to fail enough. You're not able to fail fast enough. So you're unable to experience and really explore yourself in the real world. And I think that's what causes a lot of failure in those people. However, when you become complacent and you start playing the victim card, that's also a negative. Because you could have a a lot of freedom, and you can use that in a negative way as well.
Yeah. Being complacent is, or how do they say it? Sleep is the cousin of death.
Yeah.
And I relate sleep to multiple things. Being complacent is one of them, and just not taking action is a form of sleep. At some point, you just gotta wake up and, start moving like a person that's awake. Instead of a person that's comfortable and asleep.
Yeah. I used to work at this agency, Drink But Don't Sleep. That was the name of it. Shout out to Jay.
Shit, that sounds dope. Dream but don't sleep.
Yeah, man, that made me think a lot, bro. It's very sad, bro. So sad.
And thing is, I want to help so many people out, especially some of my family members.
Yeah, I think you and I think very similar in that way. But I think our heart is in the right place, but I've also tested it. I've tried it with so many different people, and my result has always been the same. Gotta let them be.
It's just hurts. They're waiting for that certain slap. My bad. They're waiting for that certain slap in the face. Yeah. That certain life slap that eventually gets everybody at a certain point in time. But, for some people it's later on. Some people it's early on. But
some people are more stubborn than others.
Yeah. And a lot of it too is the environment they choose to put themselves in. So a big one is he doesn't like taking risk, my friend.
But that's that comfort again.
It's that comfort.
It feels better.
He never left his household for a while, and it kind of like strained a lot of the things that he ended up doing. Because sitting in your house all day, you're not going to meet the guy who flips houses.
I have this theory, and I want to test it out with my children. So they'll be my little guinea pigs.
Yeah.
But I believe that traveling is just as much of an education as it is to go to school. And the reason is because when you're traveling, if you're taking a month off and you're on your own, there's nothing there for you. You just got to go and figure it out on your own. Go to a different country that they don't speak your language and figure it out. If you got to sleep in the street, you sleep in the street. And that's really what teaches you. That's entrepreneurship. Either you find a solution or you stay in the problem until you figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know some people will go days without a shower, and then you got the one guy who's like, I got a gym membership. I'll just take a shower at the gym.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. With Harvey, he was actually here. It was episode 2, I believe.
Yeah.
I love traveling with him because, dude, we have slept in the same bed together like so many times already. And like so many people would be like, no, I'm not sleeping with someone else. Or like, no, I'm not sleeping in those sheets. Or like, no, I'm not sleeping in the car. Bro, I've slept with this guy in the car so many times already. And it's fine. And like, it's just how many buts do you want to put into it? Or how many yeses do you want to give it? You got to ask yourself, well, what's my end result here? And
you can't be saying the same thing when the world, say, God forbid, is coming to an end, and all of a sudden water stops working and, electricity stops working. It's like, I'm going to wait till it comes back on. No. Go outside, get a generator, go outside, learn how to fix a pipe or something, and try to make the problem less or more bearable in this case.
And we're blessed, bro. That's why I love ChatGPT. Dude, how lucky are we to live in this generation where a solution is a tap away from our fingers? Literally a tap away.
I think about it all the time. People had to go to the library to write a book report. Oh my God, bro. Never again. Like, I feel like after the internet really became a thing and Google, nobody really picked up a book.
Yeah. It's an exciting time to be alive because you have the people that will really become millionaires and be like astronomically successful, or you will have the consumers, unfortunately.
And the thing is, I just don't want to consume everything. I want to be the guy actually putting it on the shelf, having other people consume what I put out.
Yeah. it's funny because for me, I'm very hippie in a way. So I'm like very free and like I do wanna have wealth, but I always tell myself once I get the wealth to set my family up and provide for them, I'm dipping. I'm going off the map. I'm going off the grid, literally.
Yo, same. I want to get a ranch or something.
Yeah, man.
Isn't that like so awesome just to like have your own, like, say, like compound, and bro, nobody bothers you. You grow whatever you want, do whatever you want. You can blast music till like 3 a.m.
Have the boys over, bro. Have a little village with the boys.
Yo, for real.
That's a dream. Yeah. Today we're in the garage, bro, but tomorrow we got the man cave.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
And everybody has their own trajectory, man. Not everybody will do it the same way that you will. But if you follow the same values, I guarantee you that you will stand out. Mm-hmm. And you will achieve the success, the joy that you want and that you crave for you and your family.
If I'm being honest, the only happiness I've been striving towards is being able to sit on that couch again and play multiplayer with my friends. Just like one last time. It was Advanced Warfare Zombies, and you could like run on the walls and stuff. It was freaking dope, and we had some like glitch spots where we could just like gather up the zombies. Yeah. So I think about that all the time, and no matter where I am in life, I just want to be able to have a couch with a TV, bring all my friends together, and just chill, relax like how we used to, and don't have to worry about our next meal because it's being cooked in the kitchen right next door. And no worries in the world. Like right now we just have so many worries.
Yeah, life is simple, bro. We just overcomplicate it with our minds.
Exactly. Yeah. We got to bring it back to a simpler time. Reminds me of the song Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. It's like a rock song. It's like in the beginning of it.
You gotta sing it, bro. You got a microphone and everything.
Be a simple kind of man. But that song, it just like resonates with me so hard because in the beginning of it, he's like, you know, his parents told him when he was young that listen closely to what I say. You can do this. Help. Like his parents, he's basically saying, gave him like this advice that he would take on with him for the rest of his life. And it's basically just to be a simple kind of man. Because once you start overcomplicating it, then your problems start being complicated as well. Like to tie this into like buying a house, it wasn't as simple as I thought it would be. Of course, I knew there was going to be some problems that would arise, but problems that become more complex than I would be able to manage just on my own. If I was just doing this alone, I would just be so lost right now. Like on the first stage of when we started having water leak into the basement. Little did I know there was certain like technological advances that were made so that it could lessen that problem, which is like a French drain around like the inner walls of the basement to collect that water and then eventually like sub pump it out.
Earthquake.
And sub pump it out onto the outside. So I mean, for every problem that does arise, there's definitely somebody who solved it.
Dude, there's been so many people in this world. I'm telling you, somebody has gone through that same problem.
Exactly. And I think a large portion of when I was growing up was understanding that, you know, I'm not the only one going through this problem. Somebody has experienced the same problem before. I just didn't want to hear it. Like when I was in high school, like my dad would be like, you know, enjoy those years, or, you know, the problems that I would tell to him would seem so minuscule. And then he'd be like, just wait till you get out into the real world. Trust me, that's nothing compared to what you got to face soon. And I just thought everything was hard right there, and my life was crumbling and this and that. But when you really get out into the real world, that's just a walk in the park compared to what life really has to offer.
I recently listened to a book called Tuesdays with Maury. The book is about a younger man that's visiting his teacher and realizes that his teacher is dying. And he decides to start recording the conversations that he has with his teacher. He has a terminal disease, so it's guaranteed that he will die. And every visit that he has, he's getting worse and worse. So he starts asking them questions about life and whatever and whatnot. And something that stuck out to me was he asked him, if you had one last day to live, what would you do with it? And I want to ask you that before I tell you what Maury said.
If I had one last day to live, I'm pretty sure, like everybody else, responsibilities would become a thing of the past, and just living would become now. Meaning, like, I would just live to the best of my ability while I still can. And honestly, the first thing I would do is I'd get myself into so much debt in the beginning. I'd drive the fastest car off the dealership lot. They wouldn't know I'm dying tomorrow. But I'm driving that Hellcat off the lot. What else? I'm going for those chances I never took with people that I wish I took them on, or I'm taking that risk. I'm putting that pride aside and doing everything that I always wanted to accomplish but couldn't, because I had too much pride, or the fear of embarrassment always got to me. Well, what's to be embarrassed about if you're dying tomorrow?
Beautifully said. Sheesh. Maury's answer was he would wake up, eat his favorite food, spend time with his wife, then he would take a stroll in the park, then he would go out dancing with his friends, and he would go home and sleep. And it's the simple things.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you, because you told me that your end goal for your dreams is to be with your friends and just play video games and do it all again, because that's the moment where you're the most at peace, when nothing seemed to worry.
Yeah. Honestly, if I was a bit older and I had pretty much all the things that I just wanted to attain, I think I would just go back to the roots, and it would just be as simple as just playing those video games with my friends again. But if we're putting a time frame on it, that's it. I'm going to the moon. I'm finding a way into SpaceX, stealing that starship. Even though as simple as I want to live, I want to die and go out with a bang.
Yeah.
I told my
and that's where your dad's part comes in.
Yeah,
I believe
he was more of that guy. Yeah. I told my sister this. I was like, when I die, I want one of those Viking deaths where you put me out into a boat, shoot a flaming arrow, and then ignite the boat. And then as soon as the boat ignites, a bunch of fireworks start going off. Big explosions.
Boy, am I glad this is being recorded. Now everybody knows this has to happen.
I'm going to make sure there's a budget. I'm going to make sure there's a budget for it. Just make sure it happens.
He's putting it in his life insurance.
Yo, for real. Oh, man. But at the end of the day, if you break it down to the simplest, you can't take all the materialistic things with you. The only thing you really leave behind is the impression you made on people. And so, honestly, that's my truest goal. I posted this thing recently, and it was like, you could be a boss in a Honda or a bum in a Benz.
Yeah.
Possessions don't really mean anything. And of course, you can't take it with you, but at the same time, it doesn't bring much value to your life other than, the purpose that it serves. And then after it serves its purpose, it's junk, it's devalued, and pretty much worth nothing to you at the end of the day.
Hey, man.
Yeah, man.
There's this abbreviation. It's MINS. It means most important next step.
Mm-hmm.
And if you follow that with your dreams, you're able to accomplish it. You put the end goal and you start tracing it backwards.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the most important next step? And then you start going back and back and back. And then you end up in where you are today, in the present. And that way you're able to know what would be the next step for the next week.
Mm-hmm.
And what you have to do.
Yeah. Taking that next step is the most important, or more so planning it out.
Yeah.
I like what you said, like going back and figuring out how you got to where you are. A lot of it's reflecting.
Yes. And that's why I told you that, like, the talking, the saying it out loud, the writing, that is so important.
Not a lot of people do that, and it's a form of reflection, but I reflect all the time by myself, in my own inner thoughts, but more so when I talk to certain people too, it helps me reflect on a bigger scale. Reflecting just helps you learn lessons that you missed. It helps you understand the person that you are, and it helps you interact with people better. And by that, I mean, I had conversations with realtors. I had conversations, basically sales calls a lot of the time. And you're never going to get it right on the first try.
Yeah.
And if you reflect on what you did wrong, if you reflect on, certain things that you missed, the next one's always going to be better. And I feel like God gave me that gift of reflection, because with this, I'm able to push myself to higher limits, but more so help other people understand the type of person they are. And that's my goal with one of my friends, is to help him understand who he is as a person, as opposed to what people deemed him to be. And once you understand who you are, I think you're able to navigate a bit more accurately and strategic in this world.
Perfect, bro.
Feeling philosophical today.
That's what I think everybody has that within them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a matter of touching upon it.
And who brings it out too.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of there's a little fly right here, bro, in the microphone. It's really beautiful. I have a thing with, like, not killing insects, bro.
Oh no. Or I'll stomp on a spider real quick.
Nah, bro. I used to get really anxious about death. And I was like, damn, a life ends, bro. Like, the creativity just, like, ends. And that shit scares me so much, bro.
I was watching Naked and Afraid the other night, and they were hunting for an impala. And coming down the hill was an impala, but it was a baby impala with its mom and dad. And I just thought, like, they killed this baby impala, or they killed, like, one of the big parent impalas. What is that baby going to think of? And that baby's going to grow up fearful of humans, fearful of where it trods. And, I mean, it's a learning lesson, of course, and that's the circle of life. But take that on a bigger scale. Somebody who, it was, I think in Florida, somebody invaded a home, killed the parents, and the kid was hiding in the closet or underneath the bed, one of the two. And on the phone with the 911 operator, listening to all this, like, commotion going on, hears the gunshots and everything, doesn't realize her parents are dead until, the police arrive. And, bro, like, I just thought, like, what that guy could be feeling in the courtroom, like, if he had any, like, remorse to, like, what he did to the girl's parents. And then what I was, like, really thinking was, like, what she feels in that moment. Like, oh, he took everything away from me, basically creating, a villain, and maybe she just wants like revenge on him, but at the same time, maybe she doesn't. But how could a person even like come to that point? Or where does it set in that this isn't like what you want to do? Because initially I think he just wanted to rob the house. He never like intended on killing anybody. But once you go that route, there's like really no turning back. And some of these people that commit massacres, like what's going through their head?
Yeah, and isn't that what's happening in all these nations with the wars that's going on?
Like, you really gotta like sit there and convince yourself that this is the right way to do things. And whenever I have a conversation with somebody, just again, like my alcoholic friend, he knows right from wrong. I have this conversation with him all the time, and he knows drinking alcohol is bad, and he knows it's killing him. But at the same time, it's like, why do you do it? And of course, we find comfort in it. But at the same time, with someone my mom hangs around with who constantly like steals from stores, it's the only thing he knows, and it's the only thing that he was brought up to do, I guess, professionally in a way. Like, it was the only skill that he pretty much honed in on. And you sit down and have a conversation with these people, and they understand what they're doing is bad. But at the same time, it's like they're not willing to change. And it's that free will God gave us, We all have the willpower. It's just, are we willing to use it? Yeah. And I think we all know right from wrong. It's just, I guess, something in that person's brain that clicks that says, I'm going to go with the devil on my shoulder as opposed to the angel. Because the angel, the way the angel's perceiving it, seems a bit long. I would have to stay consistent and disciplined. But the devil on my shoulder is telling me I could get it instantly. I could get it now.
Yeah. We delay ourselves in our excuses.
Mm-hmm. And I think delayed gratification as well makes for a better reward at the end.
Yeah, I think so too.
No matter how fast I may have accomplished the certain goals that I have accomplished now, it was the delayed gratification. To this day, I don't have my hopes high. Like, even though we have the offer accepted and everything, I still don't have my hopes high that we're actually going to like offload this. But once it actually happens, I know that feeling is going to be surreal. Once I actually see the amount in my account.
It has already happened, bro. Time just hasn't caught up yet.
Yeah.
Even if it's not with this property, with the next or the next, it will happen eventually.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I think that's
or when I get to the point of actually buying everybody what I said I was going to buy them, a house, car, whatever. I think that actually make me. I think about times like that, and every time I dwell on that thought, or live in the thought and actually imagine it as reality, it just feels like, I don't know.
Real,
like happy, like real happiness.
I always, I still have it till this day. When I was younger, mostly though, I would always tell myself, the world can't hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that feeling of feeling invincible. Even when I knew that it was dangerous, I would be like, no, like, I for example, a couple of years back, I took a whole month off, and I just told my parents that I was leaving and I was like going to go travel and be on my own for a bit. And they were like, oh, why are you doing that? And I was like, no, like nothing's going to go wrong. I know that nothing will go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that divine intervention, I guess, that tells you like, this is right for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that gut feeling that you have and you should follow it.
Yeah.
If you're doing the right thing with the right intentions, God will back you up.
Exactly. 100%. And if you feel like you're not doing the right thing, eventually
it's gonna catch up.
Yeah. It's gonna catch up, and eventually a point in time where, yeah, you're gonna get caught up in that moment and be like, oh fuck, I'm screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. I think that's a good way to end it right there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of gems this episode has.
Yeah, man. Shit, how long we been going for?
2 hours and 9 minutes. About to be 9.
Damn. But anything you wanted to touch upon, or?
Forget that, man. I think you did touch on everything without... I think... Before I started this podcast thing, I said that my idea was to make it about business and stuff. But then as I started talking to people, I realized that that's not the right idea to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can teach somebody about a business, but you can find that same information in YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could find it in so many different places. You can go to school for it.
Mm-hmm.
But what you should really try to learn is the mental aspect of it. Understand how to take care of your body, how to eat properly, how to connect with the right people, how to adjust your mindset, your perspectives, your awareness, your humility. I believe that those are the things that really teach you. Mm-hmm. And the more I bring in people from different backgrounds, you know, today it was you. Last week it was somebody that wants to be a priest. You know, all these people have the same values, dude, and they're happy.
Yeah. I can't imagine not having the values I have, where I would be kind of like Superman, but if he ended up in Russia. You ever seen that?
No.
With the Russian Superman?
No.
It's
I pictured a bear.
It's made by DC, and it's what if Superman landed in Russia.
Is that what Bizarro is?
No, Bizarro was like a lab experiment created through like Superman's blood, but ended up becoming like some weird
okay,
monster.
You're a
nerd. But yeah, Superman ended up in Russia and ended up becoming like, you know, like a Russian kind of the embodiment of communism.
Oh.
Like everything they stood for, and they won all the wars. He was like their greatest asset and soldier, and basically brainwashed by like the Russian elites. And, you know, I always think of myself,
I mean, the idea of communism is a great idea.
Yeah.
So I could see why Superman would get brainwashed by it.
Like, imagine he didn't land in a ranch home where he had like 2 really good parents who brought him up to not use his powers in public and just be a normal human being, as opposed to embracing his actual power and using it as power, basically something that's over everyone else. Yeah, that's how I feel, man. Sometimes Superman, I have the power. It's just I don't use it over anybody else. I just tend to use it for the greater good.
Amen. All right, bro. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Incredible.
It was a great podcast to be on. Nice talk. I don't have these talks often.
I think we should all have these talks often, dude. I know what you're gonna tell me after, because it's the same answer. It's the same thing that everybody has been telling me. It's like these are things that I never think about, but now that I've thought about it, I feel like weight has been lifted off my shoulders, and that's exactly how people should feel, dude. They should have. This is like therapy. This really is like therapy.
Pretty much.
And isn't that what's therapy? It's a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna recommend you a book. I always recommend you books every time I see you.
Mm-hmm. The
Way of the Superior Man.
The Way of the Superior Man?
Yes. Okay. By David
Goggins.
Dahlia? No. No. It's another legend. David Dahlia, I think is his name. Dahlia. He talks about this really important topic, and this will be the last piece of it. Mm-hmm. He says that as humans, we should always interact with our closest friends once a week. Mm-hmm. And in that once a week, we recap our successes and our failures and what we believe will be our next step. And that way, together as a collective, we help each other determine whether that's the best step for you. And if you have things that you're debating, then they will help you put it on the table and debate it with yourself and be like, is this good or is this bad? And that's how you get to conclusions. And that way you have somebody that holds you accountable to it. And it's looking for the best for you.
Yeah. That was like my friend for the longest. Brian, he's out in Pennsylvania right now. Truly like one of my best friends. We would have conversations probably like once a week, basically like underlining everything that we accomplished for the week. And I think having those talks, understanding where we stood last week, and then trying to progress from that the next week really helped. Pushed me to become a better person today. Shit, if it wasn't for him, man, I'd probably be stuck working at the same job, because it was his ideology after I told him everything that was going on at my job that helped me, pursue something new.
It's your environment.
Yo.
All right, bro. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.